Real quickly before we jump into the video, I want to let you guys know something we're doing over on my Twitter. I know we just did a little giveaway of an Elgato, but this time we're actually doing something that I had some leftover goodies from the actual reveal event. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm giving away a few things from that being a poster, a t-shirt, a keychain, and a rally towel. If you guys want to check that out, link is in the description below to the tweet. All you have to do is retweet and follow to enter, and I'll be picking the winner at the end of the week. I ended up getting 2 of each, so honestly, I don't need double of everything, so I figured I'd give away some stuff to anybody that was interested. So that link is again in the description below to the tweet if you guys want to go check that out. But that said, let's jump into the regularly scheduled content. We've been talking a lot about Black Ops 4 as of recently, obviously because the reveal happened just the other day, so we have a ton of stuff to dive into with discussion in terms of new things, returning things, things you may have missed, all kinds of stuff like that. So the content as of recently has been a lot of Black Ops 4, and we do have still a lot of stuff planned for the relative horizon on videos coming out here on the channel in the next couple of days to weeks. But I wanted to take this video and give a little discussion going back to World War II, because while everything is happening and it's all great and everything to look forward to the next game, we still have a lot of things to look forward to within World War II in particular, because that's what we have right now. That is where the lifespan of Call of Duty is at the current point. So we do have some stuff still to take a look at. And as of recently, of course, we've been doing these things to look out for in the week ahead with Call of Duty World War II. So I wanted to take this evening to discuss a little bit about what's coming up in the week ahead for Call of Duty World War II. So sit back, relax, and maybe get a little hyped for some stuff coming and what you can look forward to this coming week. So let's start out small. Let's start with the things that normally do refresh. This first thing being the new contract for a weapon in the Quartermaster. So as we do know, for this week, we had the Itra Burst, which is honestly a great weapon to be able to get organically and not have to try and go for any supply drop luck, any collections, which are now locked, by the way, so you can't even get those. But the Itra Burst is a weapon that if you don't have it already, it's fantastic, and a great weapon that rivals some of even the best weapons in the game, even after the nerf in which it took a lot of the properties of the weapon and brought it down significantly. So it's still a great weapon. If you guys have not checked that out, that is available for the next probably 12 hours or so by the time you watch this video. But as of next week's, well, again, we have no idea what it will be. My guess maybe is that it's another one of the DLC weapons from the Blitzkrieg event, because we did see that we had a bunch of Winter Siege things, but as of the past 2 weeks, we had the Sterling and the Itra Burst, so both of those weapons being brand new from the Blitzkrieg event itself. So we might see the Type 38, maybe the Type 5, or maybe even the M2, or who knows, maybe the baseball bat. But we do have one of those up on the deck in the next couple of days, refreshing tomorrow and then for the next upcoming week, or potentially it might even be one entirely different. We might not even have any of those from the Blitzkrieg event. It could be completely random, but as we see at the moment, it is going to refresh for a new weapon, probably for a very short period of time, once again, like 1 or 2 hours, but a very relatively obtainable challenge to go along with it for 4,000 or 5,000 armored credits. So keep your eyes open for that one. It might be a weapon you don't have, but moving on into the next thing. This one may or may not happen. It is relatively in line with the time frame we've seen of these sort of updates go out, but the past alternating Tuesdays, we've seen new weapon variants added into Call of Duty World War II as a part of keeping those daily orders in a refresh, so that we have new stuff and new content to give out through Major Howard each and every single day. So not last week, but the week before we saw a refresh before, and then not the week before that, the week before that one, so 4 weeks ago, is when we saw the first initial refresh of those weapons and the daily orders thereafter. So we are due up in part with new ones, and as of the last couple of days, of course, we've had those ones that did not actually repeat. So we've gone through relatively all of what we had on the table for new weapon variants, but whether or not you got to collect them or not, who knows? Maybe we do start to see these actually refresh over, so it starts over with the entire list of what we've had already, and it just is a cycle now at this point. But it also is possible we may have new weapon variants added in starting tomorrow that you can see, obviously via creator class, but they won't be unlockable until you end up completing the orders, which who knows when that would be. But that's something to keep your eyes out for. Personally, I don't know, because we are actually starting to get to that point where we do have a lot of weapons for the M1928, the Lewis, the Bren, the BAR, the Combat Shotgun, the M30, the 1911, the Kar 98K, and the P08. Those weapons, of course, are now starting to get towards that full list in terms of the other variants we've seen. Each weapon has right around that relative of 8 to 9 variants for each, and a lot of those have already hit that number. So maybe we end up seeing just a cycle refresh, and then all these start to happen over and over again, or maybe we do continue to get more, but that's something to keep your eyes out for in the next few hours, because it's going to refresh relatively soon. Now, the next few things actually are very contingent on something that we were supposed to normally have on Friday, but because of the Black Ops 4 official reveal, Sledgehammer actually really had a nice gesture, and they said they're going to hold off and do this starting Wednesday. So that being their community update that they have every single week. So this means we're probably gonna have one for that 2-week time frame. I can't imagine we're gonna have 2 2, one being on Wednesday and then one on Friday as the normal schedule goes, but that is something that this is going to be a pretty beefy update in terms of what you can look out for. So look out for that update, the blog post over on their website, and of course they'll tweet it out and put it on Reddit and everything like that, that you can end up finding that on a Wednesday. But after that though, we end up seeing that we can break this further down into more things to look out for that will probably be announced or coming directly out of that blog post. So the big one that I want to talk about actually deals a little bit with a few things that of course are theoretical at this point, but are actually starting to fall in line with the time frame. That being, firstly, an event announcement or teaser. So we talked a little bit about this in a video, I think last week, right before we went out to the reveal itself. We talked about when we can expect to see the next event happening within Call of Duty World War II. So if we take a look at all of the ways that everything breaks down in terms of patterns that we've seen so far, from Winter Siege to Resistance, from Resistance to Shamrock and Awe, from Shamrock and Awe to the Blitzkrieg to the next event, it ends up breaking down that we've seen a relative time frame of 3 weeks between each event. And as it stands, this upcoming week, after this week that we're in right now, is that 3-week period. So my initial guess from whenever we did that first video talking about when we can expect the next event in Call of Duty World War II, my initial theory was May 29th, which again is not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday that we can end up seeing maybe that drop. So if it's going to be something that does actually happen, our first inklings and teasers of anything in relation to it would come out of Wednesday's blog post by Sledgehammer. So that's something to keep your eyes out for. Again, I don't know if this one will particularly happen, but it is something that we may end up seeing if it does actually happen, according to the different patterns we've already seen in World War II. Now, the next thing actually kind of ties into an event itself, but also falls in line with the DLC, because we are now getting a little bit into the territory of when DLC 3 is usually actually officially announced or potentially officially dropped, but I don't think that it's going to be next week that we end up seeing that drop, of course, but maybe we end up seeing our first teasers for DLC 3, because as we end up seeing the past couple of years, we've had a early to mid-July release for Infinite Warfare DLC 3 as well as Black Ops 3 DLC, but before that we ended up seeing DLC 3 actually drop early June. So those games of Advanced Warfare and Ghost both had a June 2nd and a June 3rd release date for DLC 3. So that's right around the corner. One thing that I don't know, of course, is that how this will play out for the actual release of Black Ops 4, since that's a month earlier. That's something that may play around with the time frame here, but if that's the case, I'd expect an early June release date, but we still are so close to it that we've yet to see anything for it. So I don't know, maybe this Wednesday with the blog post we see our first official trailer drop with that, maybe tomorrow we see a trailer, maybe Thursday, something like that, but it's something to keep in mind that we may see our first teasers for DLC 3 starting up this week. Again, that one's probably more so iffy compared to the event itself, but it is right around that time where we can start to perk our ears and look out for anything regarding DLC 3. The next thing that's probably a better guess than what we'll actually see in terms of a teaser for it is at least for the Weekend Warfare playlist this upcoming weekend. Now, as of recently, we saw one shot, and we also saw that we ended up having a throwback playlist for that first weekend of Weekend Warfare. Whatever we have this week, it might be something new, it might be something returning. Personally, I actually didn't get to play one shot at all because of the traveling and trying to focus on grinding out videos, which is kind of a bummer. I really liked one shot from Advanced Warfare, and I was actually one of the big things that I was really pushing for in terms of these sort of what to look out for and what we hope for kind of things. In previous episodes, I've talked about one shot a lot, and I actually didn't get to play it at all. So that's the unfortunate part with that, but hopefully you guys got to take advantage of it this upcoming week. We don't know if it's going to be something maybe like Infected. That'd be really cool to see. I would love to see that come and be a Weekend Warfare playlist. It's in the game files, so who knows. I'd also love to see something like Demolition return, maybe for a Weekend Warfare playlist. We do have Ground War, which is nice. That's of course a permanent thing now, but we might start a little rotation if we can end up getting a couple more thrown in the mix, and then it comes back to being around that throwback playlist, one shot, and then whatever else there is. So that's something you can look out for. Probably going to be announced within this blog post on Wednesday as well for that weekend thing starting on Thursday or Friday, but keep an eye out for that. And the final thing that I want to talk to you guys about actually deals with something that, again, I expect to be talked about or touched on at least in the blog post itself, because we are getting closer to that actual next title update for World War II. We don't have an ETA of it just yet, but we are getting closer to it if an event or the DLC is on the horizon, but that being a little more clarification on Master Prestige rewards. So in one of the recent blog posts, Sledgehammer did actually say that they will be taking a look at and implementing Master Prestige rewards for the next upcoming title update, but that was also like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so we were way off the mark on having no real idea when that would be. But if an event is actually going to be happening, that's going to require at least a little bit of an update, maybe not a title update, but DLC 3 will definitely require a title update. So with those on the horizon, or even if just off in the distance enough that we can see it at all, I would expect a little more clarification on some things we can expect for those coming very soon. But that said, despite an entire weekend and the beginning of a week being dominated by Black Ops 4 content and everything, probably slamming your sub boxes, your feeds in terms of articles if you follow in news websites or anything, despite all that being Black Ops 4 stuff, we still do have a lot of stuff to look out for within Call of Duty World War II. So we're gonna be getting back into the swing of things here probably gradually over the next couple of days and getting ready for whatever event or DLC 3 may be happening within World War II. But we're probably gonna be double uploading and stuff like that, keeping you guys both in the loop with Black Ops 4 and World War II. But wanna let you guys know about some cool things to look out for this upcoming week in the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, hopefully found it insightful. Is there anything in particular that you guys want to see happen in this week in World War II? Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. No right or wrong answer, whatever it may be, feel free to let me know. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Black Ops 4 and Call of Duty World War II content. We'll be keeping you guys up to date with everything you need to know about everything regarding new features, tips, tricks, news, updates, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of it interests you, make sure that subscribe button. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get more active over there, posting a lot of pictures from the reveal event itself too. So if you guys want to see any of that, that link is as well in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. Take care and peace.